Not just 60, 70, or 80, but up to 90% of Dead Rails players have already left the game. What's worse is that the game seems to be dying faster with each passing day, even though the community remains incredibly passionate. So the question is, what can Rico Miller do to save it? And that's exactly where today's discussion begins. Not just about what Dead Rails is missing, but about what it could become. If you still care about this legendary game, help me out by liking the video and subscribing so this reaches more former Dead Rails players as well as the dev team itself, Rico Miller, MemorMonkey, and the rest. No more stalling. Let's dive in.
Nice.
As I mentioned in a previous video, one of the biggest issues right now is replayability. Almost half of the players who quit did so because they just didn't know what else to do. They've unlocked the classes, got their trains, maxed out their bonds. So the first thing the game needs is to give players a reason, any reason, to come back. And hasn't that reason already been hinted at many times, both by the community and within the game itself? The continuation of the story after the group escapes to Mexico is an obvious path. This next chapter could easily be designed for those who've completed the first part at least once. From there, Rico Miller could either stick with the classic train-based survival gameplay or shift toward something new, like defending a base that manufactures medicine, something closer to how 99 Nights in the Forest plays. Or, if they're willing to go all in, they could even do a soft reset by introducing a new type of bond, a new type of class once players arrive in Mexico. That would give them a fresh start and fix the bond inflation problem that's been dragging the game down. Still, as I said from the beginning, this would only be a short-term fix. The bigger issue, replayability, would still be there. So the dev team really needs to tackle that head-on. And to do that, we need to ask one simple question. Why do people replay a game? There are three main reasons. The first and most common is to experience multiple endings. The second is achievements. And finally, there's alternate builds. As of now, Dead Rails only really supports 2 out of those 3. But even those 2, achievements and builds, are seriously inflated. Most missions are so easy that with just a bit of experience and patience, anyone can finish them. And when players have thousands of bonds lying around, even the newest classes and trains can be unlocked in seconds. That's why I have a few suggestions. Let's start with multiple endings. Dead Rails actually has great potential here since its lore is deeper than most Roblox survival games. But the devs haven't tapped into that much yet, possibly due to time or resource limitations. Take the special structures along the track, for example. Almost all of them tie into the zombie virus in some way. But so far, only the Tesla lab has really been used to change the story outcome. And even then, only slightly. So instead of adding more stuff, why not fully develop what's already there? For example, attacking Captain Prescott's military base could trigger a revenge mission later where undead cavalry storms the final battle to avenge their commander. Defeating the werewolf castle might let players command a few werewolves themselves. Taking down Stillwater could boost enemy strength in outposts. You get the idea. Now let's talk about achievements. Right now, they're mainly based on how many wins and missions a player has, but those don't really reflect skill, just how much time someone spends grinding. That's not ideal. So why not change, or even replace, the system? One idea I've seen a lot in the community is an endless mode where your achievement is measured by distance traveled. The farther you go, the tougher the weather and enemies get. This makes every meter count. Even a tiny difference in distance could push someone to try again, just to go a little further and reclaim their spot on the leaderboard. It's way better than playing the same few matches over and over just to keep up. Another cool idea is to add NPCs that players can rescue, and use that number as part of the final score. Right now, once you clear the first village and buy a gun, you're practically unstoppable. You can just barrel your way straight to the finish, but if you had to worry about rescuing people along the way, things would get a lot trickier and more fun. 2 players might both make it to the end of the 80-kilometer run, but one saved 10 or 15 NPCs while the other saved none. That difference would speak volumes and naturally spark competition, giving players a real reason to come back. Lastly, we've got the class system. This used to be one of the game's best features, but now, with bond inflation, it's pretty much broken. Everyone's sitting on dozens, even hundreds or thousands of bonds. So what's the fix? There are 2 options. The first is what I mentioned earlier. Introduce a new currency once players reach Mexico and make sure it doesn't inflate like bonds did. But that's bound to upset veteran players. The second option is to add leveling to each class, kind of like how classes work in 99 Nights in the Forest. But unlike 99 Nights, Dead Rails classes weren't originally designed with that in mind. So if Rico Miller wants to go down that path, he'll need to come up with a unique progression system for each class. So what do you guys think? Got any ideas to help the devs? let me know in the comments. That's all for today's video. I'll catch you in the next one.